Today, I'm talking to Tom Martin, a very big expert on how to optimize your videos on YouTube to help you get all sorts of other benefits like getting more views, getting ranked better in the search engines, and ultimately building your YouTube presence to a much higher level. So I'm very excited to have Tom on the call today. Please stay tuned to learn exactly what he's got to share with you today. Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, I had a chat to a new friend of mine. His name is Tom Martin, and he's from a company called FAQ Tube.tv. There it is. And we had a really good chat. We just hit it off. And, I was listening to what Tom had to say about what he's been doing. And he's been doing some really awesome stuff for the company that he's working for. He's doing some very cool things with some bigger brands that is helping them optimize their content and grow their YouTube channels. And he also has this website here. This is own one, FAQtube.tv. Make sure you check it out before the end of today. And during the call, I thought, why not get Tom on the call today? Because I don't know all that much about optimization, especially lately. I used to be a bit more clued up on a few years ago, but I kind of left that part of the business. So I thought, let's get Tom on the call and he can share with us a bit more for how to optimize your channel and your YouTube videos and all this sort of goodness. So I'm going to bring caller Tom in now and say hi to Tom. Hey Tom, how you doing?
Hi, Gideon. Hi, everyone.
Good to have you on the call. So Tom is all the way from the UK, right? So he's on opposite side of the world and late night for him there. So really great to have you on the call today, Tom.
Pleasure.
So Tom, I think just to get things kickstarted a bit and to give people a bit of context, give us a bit of a rundown on how you got into this YouTube thing and specifically the optimization side of things. Maybe talk also a little bit about the work that you've done for some of these bigger brands that I'm sure a lot of our audience will know about.
Yeah, sure. So it's a bit of a strange story for me because I'd say most people probably start off making their own videos for either themselves or their company, and then they kind of want to learn more optimization techniques so that they can get more views, get more leads, more traffic to their website, build their authority in their space. But I'm a kind of an exception to that rule because I actually started from a platform point of view. So I've never really been a YouTube creator making videos. So, I'm not the kind of person that can teach you how to set up your camera. You can kind of tell that I'm not really great with lighting.
Oh, no, it looks
good. what my experience is and my expertise is the YouTube platform. So from day one on YouTube, I was kind of thrown into the deep end and had to kind of learn what buttons to press. And the beauty of YouTube is that it's designed so that pretty much anyone and their granny can open an account and start uploading videos. But the problem is to get a little bit more success and a little bit more cut through is to know how to get things uploaded in the correct way and optimized in the correct way and have your video strategy so that you're optimizing for future views and not just the views of that video that you're uploading. So, as I say, pretty much thrown in at the deep end, which was probably a good thing because I had to learn and I had to learn fast. And that was about 3 years ago. And since then, I'd say I've uploaded probably thousands of videos on behalf of other people's channels. I've learned what works. Unfortunately, I've also learned what doesn't work. And I'd like to think that I've kind of made those mistakes so that my audience and hopefully you guys today can learn from those mistakes and learn how to give your videos a boost, especially in today's world where, there's the latest statistic is 400 hours worth of video is uploaded to YouTube every single minute. That's a lot of competition.
There's a lot of competition. I wonder if it's worth just telling our audience a bit, if you're allowed to, some of the bigger brands that you've been working with, because I think when you mentioned that to me, that was quite impressive. And, like you're saying, I think that's what's interesting about your background is that, you're not a creator yourself, not yet anyway, in a big way. You're just kickstarting that sort of now. But you've been behind the scenes of some of these bigger brands. You've uploaded literally thousands of videos and being able to get that experience much quicker, I guess, than a creator who might only upload a video once a week.
Yeah, so my experience is actually I've been in the same company for 3 years now, and I actually run a network of YouTube channels, about 10 channels, half of which I manage on a day-to-day basis, and that's for a large media organisation in the UK. You can probably guess who they are. Quite large in the UK broadcast space. But one thing that I like to think of is that because of my experience across various channels, so whether that be in the drama space, the how-to space, the food space, comedy space, the TV space, it's the lessons that I've learned that can be applied to almost anything. So if you were to give me any random piece of content, whether that be a comedy sketch or a how-to video of how to change the carburetor on your new Ford Focus, I'd like to think that I would be able to use the techniques that I've learned in my career to help that get seen more than it would have if a kind of a lay person was to upload their video to YouTube.
Okay, I've got a bit of an idea here, a bit of a challenge. Do you think it would be possible to optimize a video on optimization? So, for example, the video that we're doing today, would that be a challenge to go through that? And because I've applied some little bits of things that I know about for today's video, and I mean we could maybe use that as an example to talk about how to optimize a video.
Definitely.
It's the principles that apply, right? So if you get the principles right, then you can apply it to any other topic, correct?
That's exactly right. So it doesn't really matter. Of course, it matters that your content is good. Let's not, you don't want to aim to make bad video. No one aims to make bad video, and we should all be aiming to make better video and video that is shareable.
I'm really glad you've said that, Tom, because there's over the years that I've been on YouTube, there's been some disturbing things that's been happening that I don't endorse and agree with myself. And this is where essentially people create spam content, spammy kind of video content, and it's not really in the interest of the viewer. But then they go and SEO the nuts out of it. And they rank their content and get to number one, but it doesn't create a good experience, and it has become harder in the more recent past to be able to use those little tricks and stuff. But I still see people doing it, and I still see some not so savory content floating up to the search engines. And so I'm really glad that you've said that it really comes down to providing, creating good, valuable content for your users first, and then go into the optimization.
Yeah, unfortunately, some of them spammy techniques are still getting success today. I think more often than not, it's a lot older videos that were using spammy techniques that have kind of been embedded on the platform and have really gained traction and are still getting views. I think that those kind of spammier black hat, grey hat techniques work less and less today than they did a few years ago, because a few years ago, as you know, being a veteran of the platform, it was YouTube's algorithm was mainly based on view count. So whether your content was watched for 1 second or 5 minutes, if you just sent a load of views to that video, then YouTube would see that people are watching it and promote it. It would get more views, they'd promote it, and the cycle would go on. YouTube saw that was too easy of a system to game, and so what they did is to change up their algorithm probably in about 2012 to say it's watch time that is the single most important ranking factor on YouTube. So if people are watching your videos, watching a large percentage of your videos, then they're much more likely to serve that in both search and the suggested video sidebar that you'll see down to the left-hand side of this video.
Right, and that makes a lot of sense because that's a lot harder to game that as well. Game the watch time, and I know you're probably going to talk about session time a little bit today as
Mhm.
well. Okay, so let's take it back and for our viewers, and bring it. So let's take it back to like sort of at the beginning. Let's assume that you've already got some great content. You've got a really good content piece. In terms of the optimizations side of it, so maybe this happens even before you upload, or maybe even before you create the video, I guess. Take us through that, Tom. What is the typical process you'd go through to look at the whole optimization for? I guess there might be pre-production optimization as well. So pre-production to post-production, and getting your videos properly ranked on a place like YouTube in a legitimate way, right?
Yeah, I think you've got it, spot on, that you have to be thinking about optimization and SEO in the pre-production stage. You can optimize a video that was posted 5 years ago, and it may help, but nothing will help better than giving your video a good start in life by optimizing it even before it's even created. So the first step that I would take, I said earlier, you need to make shareable video, is the kind of golden rule that I live by, is that if I can't think of a shareable title for my video, I won't make it. Because if a video can't be shared, it's much less likely to cut through. And when I say being shared, I don't mean that it's going to get 10 million views, but in your market or in your space, it makes sense and it provides value to people. And it will be talked about in your niche. So today's video is how to optimize your videos on YouTube for more views. I could not think of a better title for a video on YouTube optimization, Gideon. So
Okay, good.
you're definitely on the right track there.
All right. So the title is very important. So it's interesting that you say there it's a shareable kind of a title as opposed to a title that is SEO optimized or optimized for the search engine. So does that come into a little bit as well, or do you purely more and firstly look at the user, the viewer, and ask the question, if they see this title, would that appeal to them? Would they want to share it? How does that work?
I think you need to find a balance, and I think you've done, again, I'll give you 10 out of 10 for your title today, because not only would, awesome, if people are in kind of YouTube circles or the video marketing space, or just maybe, in the marketing space on LinkedIn, they're very likely to share that because it makes them look smart and it makes them look like that they know about YouTube views and that they're kind of on the cutting edge of YouTube. So even if they don't watch the video, they might share it, which is a bonus. Secondly, you've included a lot of, like you mentioned, SEO friendly keywords. So it means it's friendly not only to viewers and subscribers and searchers, but also the kind of Google's and YouTube's algorithm are indexing all of those words in that title, and they're picking out the keywords, and they're saying, if someone is searching for YouTube how-to or YouTube views or YouTube optimization, they know that your video contains those keywords and they're more likely to serve those. And you can back that up. So once you've done that keyword research, and we can talk more about keyword research in a moment.
Yes.
Is that you want to replicate those keywords in not only the title, but the description and your tags as well.
All right, so let's use this one as an example. So I've got I'm not sure if you can still let me see if I can share the other part of my screen, Tom, so that you can I'm gonna just switch my screen so that on your side you can see my screen. Maybe you can take our viewers through this. Just let me know when you can also see my screen, Tom, and then we can take our viewers through it. Because I think this is really, while that's coming up for you, I think there's something important that I want to share that you mentioned. So first of all, creating this title that's shareable, that people want to share naturally, but also bringing in the keywords that you want to rank for into that is a wise thing to do. But also one thing that I think that you mentioned is really key, which a lot of people don't realize, is that if you ask the question, what makes it shareable? Obviously, if it's useful content, but also this other thing, appealing to people's egos. Like if they share it, then it makes them look good to their peers or to whoever else they're sharing it to. So I think that's a key one that I think is very subtle but very, very powerful. So I'm really glad you mentioned that.
I think it works, especially it works for kind of how-to stuff. It works for stuff that is very kind of sciencey or very factual, because people want to be seen as smart and people want to be seen as funny. So it definitely works with comedy videos as well. People like to be sharing funny videos because it reflects on them that they've got a good sense of humor, and they're funny as well, which is why you see a lot of kind of comedy videos being shared, which is what YouTube was, really made YouTube so famous in the first place.
Yeah, no,
so yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay, so right, so you can see my screen. So let's share this with everyone else as well. All right, so you've already said, okay, I've got an A+ title there, and you mentioned keyword research there a little bit. I wonder if we should look into that, because oftentimes, when I come up with my title, that's often one of the first things I do. I sort of ask the question, okay, what's sort of the base keyword phrase people would search for, and then I try and find other keywords to make just to make sure it's the right keyword. But do you have any tips on that for helping optimize this, the keyword, the main keyword that you want to optimize for in your title and description and tags?
Yeah. So I would definitely, when I'm crafting a title, I definitely front load it. So
what do you mean by front loading?
Yeah, so you want all of the main keywords to be at the start of the title.
Okay, right.
Yours is quite a long one, so I would say that it is already front loaded.
Okay.
How to optimize your videos on YouTube. It's quite a long key phrase, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that are searching for that every month. And the beauty of the beauty is that people are not only searching on YouTube, they're searching on Google as well. And because YouTube is a Google owned property, they're much more likely to serve a YouTube result in their top 10 Google search results than a random web page. So let's say, for example, Gideon, you also make an article for your website about the very same topic. You might find it that your video is in the top 10 results and on the first page of Google, but your website article may be buried somewhere in page 4, something like that, just because Google is always going to favor something that sits on their own land, shall we say.
Right. Got it. So YouTube videos are much more easier to rank because it's it's on their property, so to speak.
Compared to your website. They're making money from the advertisements, and they want people to get onto YouTube, and they know that once people are on YouTube, they usually stay on YouTube and watch a number of videos. So they're much more likely to promote someone to get onto YouTube and start that journey down the black hole that is YouTube. You can disappear into for a good few hours sometimes.
For sure. All right. So so front load your keywords towards the beginning of your title. Make sure that it's inside your description area as well. Now, I'm not sure if I did a particularly good job with that today, because I was a little bit of in a bit of a rush today, but I probably have it in there somewhere. Like it's one creating awesome content, but if no. You see, there's even typos in here. I'm going to fix that right now. So if no one on YouTube knows about it or knows how to discover your awesome new content, what's the point, right? So interesting here. I don't have any particular keyword phrases repeated there at the beginning. Would you recommend, Tom, that I would do that right at the beginning of the description area there, or is it okay to just have it a bit further down, like YouTube video optimization, or
I think as long as you've got it in your kind of first, it used to be the first 2 lines were shown in search, but now I think it's been extended to about 5 lines. So as long as you're also including those keywords in about the first 5 lines, you're probably okay, because you've got to remember, and this goes for your titles as well. Yes, you're writing for the algorithm, but your number one thing is to get people to click, and they're not going to do that unless you've got copy that makes sense and has a value proposition for what they're looking for. So if they can see in your description that you're mentioning the points that they're searching for, how to optimize videos or how to get more views on YouTube, they're much more likely to click on your search result compared to a competitor that maybe has some crazy description that's trying to be funny, or a
Right.
description that's full of links at the start. Like, definitely you should include links, but keep those kind of
Yes.
below the fold,
Right.
in kind of old print terms, or kind of
Yes.
website terms.
No, that makes sense. So one thing you'd recommend here is that I have some sort of optimization keywords here, but what I could maybe do is maybe just have another little sentence in there that has this main, how to optimize your videos on YouTube
Yeah.
type of
So
keyword at the
you
top.
could
there.
even start by saying, today we're looking at YouTube optimization and getting more views, something like that, because straight away you're selling exactly what it is that you're talking about today. And you're not misleading anyone, because that's exactly what we're talking about right now. It's not spammy. You're writing it in full English sentences that make sense.
Cool.
So you're not one.
We're not trying to trick people. That's
Exactly.
yeah.
That's where you're going to really fall down. If you're thinking, right, I'm going to optimize the hell out of this video and I'm going to get loads of people to click on it, but you're not delivering on that promise, then in the long term, you're actually doing yourself a disservice, because it comes back to that factor of watch time. So I can make the most fantastical title. I can have a thumbnail with some craziness going on it, some cleavage, dare I say it, because that gets a lot of clicks, unfortunately.
It does.
And I can put some misleading information in the description. I can put some misleading tags in there, and I can, short term, I can probably rank a video quite high, because it's going to get a lot of clicks in a short amount of time. But once YouTube realizes that viewers are dipping off, almost instantly, because they're not getting what they were promised, they're going to give me a kind of virtual slap on the wrist. They're going to tank me in the algorithm for that, and that's going to stop being suggested, and it's going to stop showing up in search. So
Cool.
you will get a lot of so-called experts telling you to, add in the name of a popular channel in your tags or something like that. And I would say definitely don't do anything like that. Keep honest, keep on the light side, and
Yeah,
it'll be better for you in the long term.
That's interesting, Tom, because I remember going through the YouTube certification training a while ago, and that was one of the key things that was really interesting, where they looked at a video that was a parody video that tried to rank for, I think it was for Gangnam Style, and what was interesting was that they used the main keyword phrase for Gangnam Style video to try and rank for that same keyword phrase, and they didn't use the word parody in it. And so what they said, the question was, would this video likely rank better or not, or would it get penalized? And it was interesting because in that case, the video would get penalized, because what would happen is that people, if that video would come up for that keyword phrase, and people think they if they're looking for the real thing as opposed to a parody, and they click on it and they find it, oh, it's a parody, it's not what I was really looking for, they get disappointed and they click away, and then you get, it's not good for the ranking for your video. That was quite an eye-opening sort of thing, because I used to think that you could even use related keywords related to your video, but it really comes down to that expectation that you build for your viewer, isn't it? You've got to, if you're creating expectation and they click on it, you've got to deliver on that expectation as well, right? To make that experience consistent for them.
That example does sound a bit harsh to me, because unless they've got, in their thumbnail exactly copies the original and the title doesn't explain that it's a parody,
right?
Then I think
right.
It is a related topic. So if I did a review of that same music video, then I would put Gangnam Style video in my tags potentially, because I don't think that's misleading, because what I'm talking about is that Gangnam Style video. Right. As long as I'm not trying to pretend that I'm the original and being misleading, because in my tags I also have review, discussion, or breakdown, and all those keywords that are relevant to what I'm actually doing. But because it is on the subject of Gangnam Style, not that I'd ever make that video, then I think that's kind of a fair use case. So what it's really against is You know, when people are, you know, let's say there's a new Taylor Swift video that's rumored to be coming out. If someone uploads a video, it's got a picture of Taylor Swift on the thumbnail. The title is new Taylor Swift video exclusive. The tags are full of new video exclusive. And then when you click on it, it's just either some text on screen saying, this has just been announced, or it's, you know, a 15-year-old boy saying, I can't wait for this new video to come out. You see, that's misleading.
Yeah, there's a few of those, and they really are quite annoying, because you get annoyed because you think you're going to see Taylor Swift, and then you see some other joker or just some text moving on a screen. Yeah, totally.
It's very common in the sports world. So people will be searching for. We won't talk about soccer because my team lost today, so we won't talk about that. Let's say there's a big boxing fight, and so people might be searching for Floyd Mayweather knockout. So they search for that, and there's a thumbnail with a fist going in the face. It's called Floyd Mayweather knockout. That's the name of the video, and the tags are full of, you know, Floyd Mayweather knockout, knockout, TKO, you know, Las Vegas. And then you click on it, and it's just someone saying, oh my God, did you see that? You know, did you see that amazing knockout last night? See, that's misleading. Whereas if they'd shown the thumbnail of the person's face, and the title of the video would be reaction to Floyd Mayweather knockout, you know, again, fair use to then start using Floyd Mayweather in your tags, because you're not trying to trick people. You're just trying to add to that conversation.
Okay.
In which case, I think you'd be more than within your rights to kind of use those same keywords that the main video is using.
All right. So let's head back to this video, because I think it's quite good for people as learning experience. So we've got the title. We've front loaded our main sort of keywords towards the beginning of the title. We're making sure that it's towards the start of our description. Is it important to have that same sort of keyword sort of spread throughout the rest of your description area as well? Or is that not too much of a worry these days?
Yeah, so it's going to be read, and it's going to be indexed by YouTube. So it's definitely worth putting in there. The more, the better. I think there's a massive character limit, like 5,000 characters.
Right.
And I'm not suggesting that you would ever use 5,000 characters, but, you know, so that when you go down below and you've got things we plan on covering, you've got some more great keywords there. So you've got optimization of YouTube videos, watch time, session time, improving, you know, optimization. Nice. So.
Cool. All right, but one thing that I could improve here, if I have the time, for example, is to have almost like a blog post in here. I could do that, right?
You could do.
Okay.
And I've seen people have pretty extensive. Some people put full transcriptions in their descriptions, which I think is overkill.
Right. So transcription of the actual video, they put it in there as well.
Yeah. What I would do instead, if you're going to go to that trouble, is to upload it as a transcription file, because then you're actually providing some really good value.
Right. And that's where people then can, you know, it has the captions of your video that people can then turn on and off, which is pretty cool. So
that's either people that are hard of hearing or people that don't maybe speak your language. And there's actually a feature now where you can allow your fans to translate your subtitle file. So you could technically be making your content available in multiple languages, which again is amazing for SEO, because if you imagine, especially for people that don't use the English alphabet, so like, you know, Russian uses a Cyrillic alphabet or the Arabic alphabet. If people are searching on different keyboards and you've got those keywords in that language, you know, your chances of getting served in search are just infinitely higher. So,
and a lot of people can speak and understand English, but they might do their searching in a different language. And if your video then comes up, even though it's in English, you know, no worries. I guess vice versa. If you're creating your content in another language, but it also gets translated into English and other languages too, that same sort of benefit applies.
Yeah, and because the beauty is, YouTube's biggest weakness still is that they can't read your video content. If you've ever looked at YouTube's kind of automated subtitles, you'll see that they can't read what people are saying too well.
Right. Yeah, they still mess it
So,
up, especially if you've got a funny accent like mine.
so,
Really doesn't get it right.
so, so if you upload those transcript files, Google can read every single word you're saying in your video, and they can index those and start to rank you for those words. And so can Google. The big search engine Google. They can start to rank you for those words as well. So I know it's a really heavy resource in either cost or time, but it can really make a difference to people's ranking.
There's something that we've done in the past that helps cut down on it a little bit, where you can use something like the either what's it called, the Dragon sort of software to play your video back, and then it changes it into text, right? And then you just got to edit a little bit. There are some very affordable services around for transcripting your videos. And then, of course, there's the Apple voice recognition software. And I think there's one that's just come out from Google too recently that can do that for you. So I guess there's ways of speeding that up. But yeah, it's still quite labor intensive to make that happen.
I think YouTube as well, if you go, so there's now a new translation tab. I think that's now available to all users. So when you're uploading a video, there should be a translation tab, and so if you don't want to translate all of your video, you can just translate the title perhaps, or the description, which can be really useful. And even though it's not as good as translating the whole transcript, it can still be useful for search. But also at the bottom there, I believe they promote certain third-party services where you can get translations. I've never tried any of those, so I can't recommend any, but if you were that way inclined, you could have a look at those kind of endorsed services and see what they were like.
So let me get this straight. I didn't realize that you can just have your title and description and tags maybe translated, as opposed to the whole transcription of your video. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's only within the last few months.
Okay, that's awesome. We've got Des Herbert saying in the chat room, how about using someone on Fiverr to transcribe a video if you haven't got time? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if it's cost effective for you, why not? That sounds like a great idea. Thanks, Des, for that.
If you're getting it done in another language, the only thing I would say is, first of all, if you've got a friend who can check, maybe if the first time you get something like that done, I'd get it checked by someone you can trust, just in case they haven't done the best of jobs.
That makes sense.
Just in case. And then if you can see that they've got a good quality of work, you can, that's a person you can go back to again and again and again. If you're in the US market, you might want to try Spanish first, because obviously, there's a big Spanish speaking community in the United States. So to have a look into your analytics and see where a lot of your viewers are coming from. So if you're getting a lot of viewers from India, maybe you might want to get it translated to a local language. You might be getting a lot of viewers from Germany or Italy. Just have a look. Yeah, because you might be kind of pushing on an open door there.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, because last time I checked, it was a while ago. If you looked at the YouTube statistics, it was around about 80% of all the traffic comes from outside of the US.
Yeah,
that's a lot of traffic, right? So I'm assuming a lot of those traffic sources would be from non-English speaking countries, like the Spanish speaking countries, or China doesn't have YouTube yet, right? They still blocked YouTube.
It's blocked. But it's growing all the time as they kind of reach out to new areas. A lot of the so Latin America is a really big growth market. Russia is becoming really big. South Korea is now a really, really, really big market for YouTube. So you'd be surprised,
Very cool. All right, I want to jump back into the the example here, because I think it's very useful. So translation, awesome. So make sure you check that out, guys, and see if you can. I like what you're saying is looking at your statistics and see which countries are already watching your videos, and then translate it for them. And then at least just the title and description and tags, or even just the title. Sounds like that would already make a big difference. Yeah. That's a pretty awesome tip. So jumping back to today's video. So So we've got the title sorted, we've got the description sorted. One question I have is I've often seen people have links in here to other articles that relate to the same sort of topic or other videos that relate to the same sort of topic. Is that a useful thing to do? I guess I'll just have my own input first before you answer, because I think from my understanding is that if you're creating useful links in there, that's going to add to the experience of your viewer. That's going to make your overall value of your video a lot better, and hence you should rank better. Is that do you think that sort of thing still applies as well, or have
Yeah,
changed?
so I'm not sure where I ever first heard it, but it's something that I learned at an early stage, and it's something that I've always kept, and that is that links in description are really important. And I think I've always tried to analyze where that comes from, and I believe it comes from the fact that, again, that it's a Google property. And if you know anything about Google SEO, you'll know that one factor that they look for is outgoing links as well as incoming links, because what they're really looking for are people that are providing value to their audience, like you said. So if I'm talking about, let's say I'm making a history video about the Second World War, and then in my description, I'm linking out to my sources, which might include Wikipedia or, the Imperial War Museum or, the US government website, something like that. These high authority sources. YouTube's looking at that and saying, this guy, he's not just trying to sell stuff. He's not just trying to do X, Y, and Z. He's genuinely providing value to his audience. So that is definitely, I'd say, a thumbs up. Secondly is links internally to other YouTube videos, because one, it works for you because you're getting more people to watch your videos. And secondly is another factor that we haven't spoken about yet, which is session time.
Right.
Session time is a weird one because it's very important, but it's one of the few things that is almost impossible to track. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be trying to optimize for it, because it is really, really important. And the easiest way for me to describe it is, if somebody starts their YouTube journey on one of your videos, Gideon, but then you say, hey, I'm working with Tom over here, and they go and watch one of my videos, and then they go and watch a boxing video, and then they go down the wormhole and they watch 2 hours worth of videos, YouTube looks at your original video and says, Gideon's video is good for us because it starts people down on that YouTube journey.
Right.
And he encourages people to watch more videos on the platform, which is good for us. So we'll promote his videos more. So the more you get people to stay on platform, the more YouTube are going to promote you in their search rankings and in that suggested sidebar.
Brilliant. So some tips on how to actually practically do that, Tom. So do you have any specific things for helping people do that? You've already mentioned, say, linking to another someone else's video, or even another of your own videos through an annotation or a card. What would be the best way of doing this?
Yeah. So first of all is, back in when we go, like you said before, in pre-production, when you're scripting your video or when you're filming your video, you should be thinking, at the end of this video, what do I want the person to do next? And it may be that you want people to sign up to your, landing page and get a free ebook or something like that. But if that's not your priority, you should be thinking, what is another hyper related video that I've got to this video that if people have got to the end of this, they'd want to see next? So for example, at the end of this video, you might want to say, click here to watch a video on how we're going to optimize for session time. So you always want to be thinking about what is that viewer's journey and how do you get them onto the next video and the next video and the next video. The next thing that I would give you as a tip is to use playlists as extensively as possible.
Right.
Mainly because...
And how would you link to these things? Because at the moment, you can do it through annotations, but 50% of YouTube's watchers or viewers are coming from mobile, right? So annotations don't work for that. Can you do a playlist through a card these days?
You
I
can
haven't tried
do,
that.
yes, you can do a playlist card. The drawback to that is that if you're doing it through a traditional annotation, you can link to one of the videos in the playlist in playlist mode. So what that means is when they click on that link, they watch the video, but then they're automatically watching it within the playlist environment, and then they'll be taken to the next video and the next video and the next video and the next video. So that's what I currently would say to use, and you can use a card as well. So you're catching the people that are not watching on mobile, but also you can include those playlist links in the description. So you could say,
okay, good. So not just as annotations and cards, but also description. Cool.
Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
you could say, to learn more about session time, click down below to watch my next video. But then when they click on that, they're watching that in playlist mode, because then they're going to get taken to the next video and the next video and the next video and the next video.
Right. Very cool. Okay. Nice. Okay. So awesome. So add those playlists as both annotations and cards, but also in your description area. That is a pretty cool tip. And that then helps increase your session time. So which is slightly different to your watch time. Makes a lot of sense. Okay. What about... I'm just looking at the time here. I know there's so much we can cover here.
Yeah, it's
Tom.
a very broad topic.
It's incredible. So there's a couple more things I want to cover. One is just the tags, and then also the keywords, and maybe a little bit on external stuff like embeds and things like that if there's time. But let's have a look at so looking at the tags first. So for my video here today, if I can just explain to people what I did today, I came up with some keywords that I thought would be relatable or relates to optimizing your content on your videos on YouTube, and I just threw them all in there. But how do you normally go about it? I mean, one of them is how to optimize your videos on YouTube, and I just noticed there that I didn't put that right at the beginning. That's probably something you'd recommend to do as well, like have your main keyword that you want to rank for towards the beginning. Is that still the case as well?
That's not something that I think particularly matters.
Okay.
I think that YouTube probably weighs most of these the same. So I wouldn't worry too much about the placement.
Okay.
What I would suggest to you, just by looking offhand, is that these are all fantastic tags. These are all kind of A1 tags, but you seem to be missing. And I don't know whether you've deleted those, but do you have kind of default tags that appear on every single one of your videos?
I have one, for example, my name that I always put in, but I've noticed other people go a bit more extensive and have a special code or something like that as well.
So what I would suggest is that you think of a set of tags, maybe, I won't give a number, but within the range of maybe 5 to 10, maybe less, of keywords and key phrases that you'd want to apply to every single one of your videos. So you might think that video marketing applies to 90% of your videos, or marketing applies to 90% of your videos. Right. Definitely Gideon Shalwick applies to 100% of your videos. But you might find some other ones like... So for example, on my channel, I'd say like YouTube tutorial would be a tag that would be relevant to all of my videos. So what happens is you can set those, let's say 6 tags. You can set those in your upload defaults. So every time you upload a new video, those 6 tags automatically appear. So you haven't got to keep putting those in. And what happens is YouTube starts to see that with every upload, you're using those same 6 tags. And you don't only use those 6 tags, but you add your video specific tags to those. So, and YouTube starts to see that, oh, wait a minute, these are similar. So I'm going to suggest this and another one and another one and another one. So what you're really doing is creating relationships between your videos, and then that means that you're much more likely to get served in that suggested sidebar on the watch page.
Very
Pardon
cool.
me.
And
And
so,
it's that relationship that, as a channel manager, me on day to day, that is my bread and butter. That is what I'm looking to do, is to create those relationships so that in an ideal world, I can take up all 20 of those recommended videos, because that is a sustainable and long-term way to get views on YouTube.
that's a super tip, and I'm just been showing people on the screen here while you've been talking where to go to do that in the upload defaults. So under tags, then you can put in your
Yeah.
different keywords to that always will be in there whenever
Yeah.
you upload a new video, and then you just add your own normal tags on top
Yeah.
of that. That's more specific to that content. That's a
Yeah.
beautiful
So
tip, and
if I
I've
was you, Gideon, I would suggest on adding a couple more at least.
Right, right. Okay, so I'll perhaps do that. And so this is something that I can do retrospectively as well. I could go to all my other previous videos and do the same thing, right? Just add in all those sort of keywords, and then over time, I'll start getting those benefits for such suggested videos as well, like you're
You
saying.
can, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. What about keyword research? Do you use any specific tools for coming up with keyword ideas to help with these sort of tags, and even to help up with coming up with keywords for your title?
Yeah. So unfortunately, YouTube did have a keyword tool that was just, you went in, put in your keyword that you were, like a seed keyword, an idea that you had, and it would tell you not only the volume of people searching for that every month, but it would then also tell you a big list of related keywords that people are searching for. But unfortunately, they pulled the plug on that. And I've kind of been looking for a tool ever since that kind of that showed that search volume.
Okay.
One tool that I've been using recently is a tool that's called Video Sense. But at the moment, I think they're having problems keeping that.
Video sense, and how do you spell that?
Yeah,
With a C?
as in like a sense. Yeah, that's it.
Sense dot com.
I think so. Yeah.
All right, so just going there. All right,
So
YouTube
that
keyword tool. All right, cool.
So the main selling point for that was that it still showed that keyword volume, but at the moment, I think they're having problems keeping up that
Yes.
data. So
Okay, cool. So that's one tool to check out. I wonder how they're pulling that data, because I remember when we tried to do this for V-Roll, we didn't get access to that data. They wouldn't allow us the
yeah,
data on the API. But what we've done, I'm not sure if you've seen this, Tom, is
I've not.
so we have we do have a keyword tool in V-Roll where you can select either YouTube or Google. So this one I've just typed in, get more views, for example, and hit the search button. And so what it does is it goes and finds all the keywords that people are searching for on YouTube at this time, because that changes over time as well, right? So it's up to date with time. But then it also pulls in the search volume, but not the search volume from YouTube, unfortunately, because that information is not available.
Yeah.
But what we do is we pull in the search volume from Google,
Yeah.
and then rank according to that. I mean, this is the closest approximation we can get to a search volume thing, and so this is often what I use.
Yeah.
To
Because I use
release.
I use another tool to get Google search volume, because as you say,
Okay.
it's kind of the best indicator at the moment.
Right.
Another good tool is it's called vidIQ, VIDIQ,
Yes. Very
and that has started to show some search volume data, even on their free plan.
right. Very
And so
cool.
that has an inline Chrome extension where you can, when you go to a video's watch page, it will show you the tags for that video. It will give you a load of social sharing data. It will tell you where the keywords for that video rank. So have you got that installed, Gideon?
I do have it installed, I believe, but I haven't really used it much, to be
Yeah.
honest. I guess I've been slack. So, but I guess if I go to a video on YouTube, well, I don't know, let's just use this one for today. So I do have it.
It
Haven't
might not
really
work
used it
so well
much.
for live,
Neon.
especially because it probably hasn't been able to get too much
Yeah, right.
data yet.
Okay. Let's do. I mean,
Just
it's just
search for a really big video, something like Charlie bit my finger, and we'll just get a good idea of.
Charlie bit my finger. Right. Now I think you have to be logged in for it. Hopefully, I'm logged in. Let's just see. So let's go. Charlie bit my finger. Is that the big one?
Yeah.
Let's see. Why not? Only 800,000, 800 million views. Sorry. All right. So
Okay, I don't know if you're signed in.
I must. Let's just see. There we go. So let me see if I can just quickly sign in. If it'll let me do it this way. Because it is quite cool to see this in action. Yeah, there we go.
If not, I can share my screen and show you
Let me
mine.
see. Log in. We'll try that again. Let's go. There we go. Yep, looks like I can log in. And there we go. So cool.
This, I assume you're on the free plan as well,
Yes,
Gideon.
I'm just on the free plan. Yeah.
So this is a real wealth of data that costs you nothing to see, and it can be really good for kind of getting inspiration. So this is all the tags of that video that YouTube usually keep private, but now you can see those, which is great.
Wow.
So I would use this for inspiration. Don't copy other people's tags, as I said. Copy word for word people's tags, because, like I say, you don't want to be misleading. But it's good to get other inspiration from what other people are using as their tags.
Got it.
So
Very cool.
if you scroll back down, Gideon, and if you click on where it says Charlie bit my, click on the tag.
This one?
The one that says Charlie bit my finger.
This one here?
Yeah. If you click on that, it'll expand. It'll give you some more data for that as well.
Wow, that's cool.
So search volume, it's not in an actual number. That's kind of like a score.
Yes, all right.
But for a certain key, and if you scroll down, it will tell you the trend of how many people are searching for that. So you can see that. But for some selected keywords, they do have the actual search volume, but I'm not sure where that data comes from or why they only have it for some keywords.
I mean, they may have a special relationship with YouTube where they can get access to that sort of data, I'd imagine.
But as a free tool, this is pretty incredible. So I'd recommend everyone use it. I use it on a daily basis.
Okay, great. Very good tip. So go ahead and install that. So the free extension on Chrome, install it, and then it just works beautifully with whenever you're on YouTube. Very nice.
And also, like you say, is Google keyword research, because what people are searching for in Google usually translates to what people are searching for on YouTube.
Yes.
Keywords and key phrases may differ slightly, but generally, if there's 1 billion people searching for Charlie bit my finger on Google, there's probably a similar amount looking for it on YouTube as well.
Right. Got it. Okay, excellent. So we've covered a lot of stuff here. I'm just noticing we're getting close to the hour, Tom. I wonder, just with one last thing. So we've talked a lot about, I guess, what you might term as on-page optimization. Your title. Yeah. Well, first of all, making sure your content's awesome and that it's shareable and that it's the sort of thing that people want to share. Getting your title right, getting your description right, your tags, making sure you do the right sort of keyword research. What about some off-page stuff, just quickly? Are there any sort of 80-20 kind of things? What are the main things that people could do to help YouTube realize that their content's awesome and that it needs to be shared? Do you have any sort of advice on that?
Yeah, so if you have a kind of an outreach strategy, then you're really going to get ahead of your competition. So let's say, for example, you're in a space such as accounting, and you've got a video on how to use some accounting software. Let's just choose Sage or FreshBooks, and you've got a step-by-step tutorial, and then all of a sudden you see a big spike in views, and then you can go to analytics and see where this is being watched, and it might be that Sage have embedded your tutorial on their website, or a big personal finance blog has has embedded your tutorial on their website. And this is fantastic in two ways. One is that all of the audience on that blog or that website is new traffic for you. And two is that YouTube sees, oh wow, a load of people from this really reputable and most importantly related website are watching your video here. So what we'll do is we'll give that a boost as well, because obviously it's a good quality video and it's delivering on what it promises. So you're getting not only the traffic, but you're getting the authority from that embed as well. So if you can try and engineer this to happen more often rather than letting it happen, so maybe reach out to big bloggers or big websites or big forums. A really, really popular source of views is Reddit. So if you've got a subreddit that's really engaged and relevant, and if you've got a video that's really, really relevant and valuable to a certain subreddit, that can not only be a huge source of views, but it's also a good signal to YouTube that you've made a good video.
Very cool. All right, so encourage those sort of those reach outs where when you create relevant and useful content, reach out to people who are already in those spaces and saying, hey, I've got some cool content. Would you mind sharing it? Or, your audience would be benefiting from this. Okay, great. Fantastic. So, Tom, anything else that you think that we've missed out? Something that is glaringly obvious that we might have missed out today that you would consider extremely important for optimization?
Yeah, well, I think because it's kind of the single most important factor, I'd just like to give a couple of quick tips on watch time and how to optimize for that.
Right, sounds great.
So firstly is like this talk, don't fill it with waffle like I am right now. Get straight to the point. Don't have a really long intro, because if people click on a video and then there's a big thing that says, hi, I'm Tom and I do this and I do that, then there's a big sting or some big branding. You need to point straight away, because people have not got the attention span to wait around to see if you're going to get to the point or not. So get to the point straight away. Secondly is at the other end, don't telegraph when you're about to end. So don't say, okay, well, that's it for today. Once you're finished, quickly give them a call to action to get them either, subscribing or onto your website or onto the next video. Because what you don't want them to do is go, oh yeah, he's finished, click to the next video on, somebody else's video. And then the third is, make awesome videos. That's, it's always going to help.
Very cool. One quick question on that's related to that, and with YouTube live events. Okay, so obviously you don't want to be waffling even for YouTube live events, but I guess if you can get a lot of people on a call, like today's call, so we've got only a small number today, but imagine we had quite a few hundred people watching today's call and they all stayed engaged and watched the whole thing. That would definitely increase the watch time without a doubt. But would that also translate into a great signal for YouTube that you're providing good value for your audience?
Yeah, so if people are watching for extended periods of time, then you must be doing something right. When you consider how many short videos there are on YouTube, and a lot of people don't get through short videos. So if people are coming to your live stream and sticking around for, even something like 8 minutes, that's pretty big deal. So if people are staying around for 20, 30, 40 minutes, it's like, wow, this guy's really talking about stuff that people want to know and people are interested in. The second benefit to that is if you're monetizing your videos and they're longer form like yours are, the way that the new YouTube subscription service, YouTube Red, pays out is based out on actual minutes watched, monetized minutes watched. So if you're having hour-long videos with lots of engagement, you're more likely to rack up those actual minutes watched as well, which is a secondary benefit. But having people commenting and liking and sharing is another signal as well. So the beautiful thing about live is that you're here and you're talking to people and you're encouraging comments and they're interacting and talking to each other, perhaps. That Google says again, YouTube says again, sorry, there's something happening here. There's a conversation happening. this must be of value. Let's give that a boost. And so once this goes into an on-demand version, that's going to be taken into account as well.
Okay, cool. I'm certainly seeing some good results. I mean, even for today's video, I often like doing this during the live events. I just did a quick search here while you were chatting for how to optimize your videos. I didn't even add on YouTube here, but just how to optimize your videos. Currently, we're number one for that while we're live. So I'm guessing YouTube gives some nice benefit for actual live events while they're live. I'm not sure if we'll stay there number one, or we might be on the first page for a while. But it seems to be this bit of a honeymoon period as well, where especially for live events or any new content, you get a bit more attention right at the beginning.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's pretty cool.
I think you're right on both points there. One, YouTube are really trying to promote their live capabilities, so any live event is going to get shown to the front as much as they can. And secondly, just generally, freshness is an important ranking factor on YouTube. So don't be afraid to update your videos. So you might want to do how to optimize your video on YouTube 2016, and then next year you might remake it 2017 and again and again, because that freshness factor, because things change, and as you know, Gideon, YouTube changes a lot as well. So
absolutely.
From year to year, you might want to update your, bigger popular videos.
Very cool. Tom, thank you so much. That was just an awesome session. I've learned a ton from it. I'm sure our viewers would have learned a ton as well. I'm just going to bring in a bit of a close to the call, and then perhaps we'll get into Q&A if you still have a few minutes left.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay, great. So everybody, thank you so much for watching today. Remember, we run these things at the moment, weekdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you do want to join in, make sure you join in at that time. And we normally have the Q&A open just for the live people. I might include the Q&A for the recording today as well, because I think it just makes sense with Tom's call today. So, but in general, we do the Q&A just for the live people. So Tom, actually, very importantly, where can people go to learn more about you, or if they want to get in touch, if you have that sort of facility, what's the best place?
You can find me on Twitter at FAQTube. And if you want to get some more details, check out my website, faqtube.tv, and you'll actually see that I have a free ebook all about YouTube optimization. It's about 70 pages long. It's pretty detailed. It's completely free.
Awesome.
It's a bit of a Bible, but it should actually, it's really strong tactical tips.
Love it.
No fluff.
I can't believe I haven't seen that yet, Tom. I've been to your site a few times, but I haven't downloaded that particular report. So I'm just showing people as well here on the screen. If you go to faqtube.tv, just on the right, you scroll down a little bit on the right-hand side. If you click there, it takes you to the page where you can then opt in for it. That sounds awesome. Definitely going to download that and check it out. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
All right, so thanks everybody. We're going to close this now and get into Q&A. So hang around for the Q&A, and we'll get into that in a second. All right, how awesome was that? So thanks if you've stuck around. I know it's a bit of a longer video today, but if you do have any specific questions, now's the time to ask them, and Tom will do his best to take those questions and answer them for you. So we don't have as many people left in the room, Tom, but let's see if there's any questions that's come through that we can answer right away. I'm just having a quick look here, and maybe I'll just split the screen for both of us. So yeah, if you're in the room, I know it's a little bit delayed here with this question. There's a question there from Des asking what is the V-Roll tool. So just quickly, V-Roll is a company that I started about 18 or 20 months ago, and we created it to help you. We started off with just YouTube video ads to optimize a lot of the processes, but now we're also extending into Facebook and other things as well. We do have this keyword tool that allows you to then search for any particular keyword phrase. I don't know, one I often do is fitness, because there's so many different things in there. You type in your keyword, it figures out all the keywords that come up for that particular keyword phrase. It looks at the search volume on Google and then ranks that according to search volume for as well. You can see the cost per click, the competition, etc. If you want to get access to that tool, it's not just a tool. You also get access to ways of creating video ads on YouTube. We've got a whole bunch of templates to choose from. You can click on that and then basically just type, it's a very quick way of creating videos. This one, for example, if you like this one, you can select some music. Let's just select that one. And then you just type in 5 lines of text. For some of them, you can upload images, background images. Just hit the button, and in 15 minutes later, your video is created for you. There's a bunch of other things there in VRoll that I won't go into now, but that's the tool. If you're interested, you go to vroll.com and check out a bit more information on that. All right, let's see if there are any more questions there. Zoe is saying, thanks for today's session, Gideon. Great guest with fellow Brit, Tom. So Zoe, 24 Karat Crochet, Tom is one of our regular viewers. I'll rewatch the video tomorrow. Great tips. Thanks to both of you. Very welcome, Zoe, if you're watching this again. Let's see. Any other questions there? Otherwise, we're going to bring the call to a close. But let's see. Great tips from Tom. Must be an Arsenal supporter.
Yes, unfortunately.
Right. So did you guys just lose over the last few days?
Yeah, today.
Today. Oh, man. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm just scrolling through some of the earlier comments. Okay, not too many questions. We must have answered all the questions for you today during the call. Let's see. So question from Jairo. Hey, Gideon. So they are now... Okay, so let's turn this one to the question. So Jaro is asking about live streaming and that it's more engaging than regular videos. I guess it relates to this last question that I had for you at the end, in terms of ranking. But do you think you could comment on, say there's 2 videos. One is like an hour long, and that's been run as a live stream, and one is like a 3-minute long video. And they're both on the same topic. They both have the same keywords. Everything else is the same. The only difference is that the live stream has a much higher watch time than the 3-minute video. What's likely to happen there, and are there other factors in determining whether which video would rank better?
Yeah. So interesting thing about watch time is, so it depends So it's a mixture between absolute amount of minutes watched and percentage watched. So let's say, you watched 100% of that 3-minute video, but you watched 6 minutes of the longer video, but that's only 10%. So even though you've watched 6 minutes of the longer video, which is double the 3-minute video, because most people have watched 100% of that 3-minute video, I'd say that 3-minute video is more likely to rank. But then let's say we get up to 20 minutes of that hour-long video, even though it's only 30%, it's pretty strong, to watch 30% of an hour-long video. So then they may, give favor to that longer version. It's hard to say definitively one way or the other.
Okay. All right, cool. So, and of course we don't have access to that algorithm from Google to reveal to us exactly how that works. So interesting. It's not just the watch time, but it's also percentage that you got to think about as well. So which very importantly, if you are running live events, you've got to think about how to keep people engaged throughout the whole thing. So it's not just about running a live event for the sake of running a live event and thinking it's going to rank better. It's once again providing value and creating something valuable, which is so cool. And I'm so glad you're covering that so often, Tom.
And what you could also do is what I've done in the past is to do like download the full version and then make a highlights package. So you've only got the absolute highlights, which are going to get watched a much higher percentage of.
All right. So this would be then, once you've won your live event, to process that into a highlight reel, I guess.
Yeah.
And so do you then not keep the live one active anymore? Do you remove that from YouTube and just keep the highlight?
Yeah, you could keep both. What you could do is at the end of the short version, say, if you're interested to hear more, watch the full version. And that's not going to get a huge click through rate, but the people that do click through are going to be hyper engaged because they want to know more.
Right. Got
So
it.
it's definitely a technique you should use. And I've used it a lot in the past.
Okay, cool. And this is something you do beforehand or afterwards, after you've run the live event?
Yeah, so I'd do that afterwards. I would download the full version or get a record. So I don't know if you're using separate software where you might be able to get a kind of clean version of that video, and then just cut the kind of best bits together and upload that as a new video.
Okay, cool. So there are some questions coming through now, Tom. So one from, let's see. Okay, one from Sherman MR2. Are you better off doing one video in a highly trafficked keyword and working hard to promoting it, or doing a lot of videos with that are easier keywords, I think?
It all depends on your goals, really. It depends what your aim is. If you just want to get people to like one landing page, then it may be better to just do one video, try and rank for it, and try and get that traffic from your YouTube video to your landing page. But if you're trying to build more of a reputation on YouTube and become an authority in your space, then I'd say more consistent uploads are much more effective, because over time you're going to rank for a lot more different keywords, and people are going to keep seeing your face every time they're searching for something in that market or in that niche. So for example, I'd hope over time people would see my face alongside yours, alongside, for some of the kind of bigger YouTube terms, just like if you were to search for certain gadgets and tech, you'd see the same reviewers showing up again and again. So if you're looking for the new iPhone or the new Samsung, what you would see is the same people over and over again ranking top, because they've been doing it for so long. People like
Marky Brownlee is a good idea, isn't it?
I can't remember what the guy's something. Unbox something. His name slips my mind, but he's an absolute legend. He's been Unbox Therapy, sorry. So he's been doing unboxing videos for like 5 years. So you can guarantee as soon as a new camera or a new smartphone comes out, he's going to review it and he's going to be up there, because he's been doing it for 5 years. And people, that's how you make a sustainable business on YouTube, by being consistent. So I'd always say you're better to take a long-term view of YouTube.
Right. And that's actually nice for the follow-on question there from Des, saying how often should you upload videos? And so you've kind of covered that, but I think there's another thing there. So how often you should do it, and also the value of consistency. So the question I have, because you've already sort of answered that, but one part is, what about YouTube? Do they actually look? Do you think they look at your channel and notice that you're more consistent and more regular with your content, and then because of that reward you more? Is that a bit of a myth?
No, I think that's definitely true. So what I wouldn't say is that they know that you haven't uploaded on a Thursday when you said you would upload on a Thursday. They're definitely not going to do that.
Right.
But what they will see, that you've been uploading videos on the same topic, once a week, once a fortnight, every day. And so they'll know that when people are searching for something related to what you're doing, they're going to say, Tom, he showed up for the last 3 years making videos about that. He's a reliable source. We're going to send him that way. Another great thing is that you've got more videos to make more money, to get more views, to get more leads. And third is you've got a bigger footprint on the platform. So you're more likely for someone to be able to find you.
Right. So all those things playing together. So it's not just YouTube going, hey, they're uploading regular, let's give them more rankings or whatever. But it's also about you just create a bigger footprint, because I think that's what you might be able to comment on this as well, Tom. I mean, what I'm doing at the moment is essentially running a live event every single day. Every weekday, that is. On the weekends I take a bit of a break. So in a year's time, if I can do it 5 times a week consistently, same time every day, that's 5 times, say 50, that's 250 videos, right? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's 250 videos that I can create in a year's time. So compare that to, say, if I was just doing one video a week, that's only 50 videos. So my footprint is going to be a lot bigger. I'm going to have more watch time. Do you think that that's a, I mean, at the moment, for me, really, it's a big experiment to see where this thing would lead me in the future. But logically, it seems to make sense because I'm creating engaging content. Perhaps the replays don't get watched as much because they're longer. But overall, I'm getting better watch time. I'm creating more content. I'm ranking for more keywords. My footprint's increasing. YouTube's seeing all these signals. So, I mean, from my point of view, they've got to start increasing my ranking. It's also other channels doing something similar to, as you keep on doing this in the future. Does that make sense to you, or do you think there's something else I could do to?
That makes total sense. I think you're right to treat it as an experiment because live events and longer form content is just not it's not the typical example on YouTube. So I think you're right to treat it as an experiment and make sure you're tracking your stats as you go along so you can see the direct effects. That's the beauty of YouTube, is you make a change but you can track the effect of that change. So as long as you're doing that, you can't really, you can't go wrong as long as you're learning from what you're seeing in the analytics.
I've certainly, I mean, it's only been 3 weeks really, and I've certainly been seeing some improvements. But most of it's been just looking at the YouTube environment. I haven't been looking outside of YouTube to help grow it. I just want to see what happens. First of all, if I just stick to YouTube, I think later on what I can start doing is start promoting my events more wider. I can start driving ads to it. I can start sending my email subscribers to it. Maybe I can start posting on Facebook about it more regularly and boosting Facebook posts on that topic. So there's a lot more stuff that I can do, but so far so good. I mean, I'm not seeing dramatic increases yet, but I think it's maybe a little bit too early to tell. But so far so good, at least, for sure.
Well, the other benefit that you've kind of alluded to earlier is that you recognize a lot of the faces of the people that are commenting on the videos. So that proves that you're building up a loyal following, and they know to come back every day at, sorry, I'm not sure what time it is, but midnight here, midnight London time, you're going to get a video, you're going to get a live stream from Gideon. You can comment, you can learn, you can ask questions. So it's almost like, you're reliable. You know that you're dependable. People can set their watch that you're going to be here at midnight, and they're going to be able to get involved in some really cool content. So that's just as valuable. And whether that's live or not, let's say I say to my subscribers, you're going to get a new video from me every Thursday, and I honor that. And people are it becomes like an event almost, like, oh, it's Thursday morning, I know I can go and get the latest Tom Martin video, or the latest Gideon Shalwick video, or I can get the latest epic rap battles of history, or whatever it may be. Because if you're dependable and you're reliable, people can, set their watch by you, and they'll make a habit. Every Thursday lunchtime, I'm going to check my feed and watch the latest Tom Martin video or the latest Gideon Shalwick video.
Yeah, I'm certainly seeing a lot of regular faces coming back, even over the last 3 weeks. And it's almost, it's like we've become friends. Now I actually expect people to turn up as well, and when they don't turn up, I feel kind of, where are they? So I guess it's the same with the other way around. So it's really good to see people coming back, and I guess as my plan is that as I do this, there's more and more people who keep on coming back, and so to grow this thing throughout this year. So I'm very open to see what happens. Comment there for you, Tom, from Maria279, saying thanks for great ideas, interesting as always. You're welcome, Maria. So just looking at some more questions here. Sherman 2. I think he's just double asking that question. Des Herbert is asking, Gideon, will you make this into a podcast? Oh, Des, this is something that's been on the back of my mind for a long time, whether I could run these live events as actual podcasting things as well. I'm not sure. I mean, it's kind of, to be honest, the only reason I'm not doing it is because it's a hassle. It's a hassle for me to be doing a live thing, and it's a podcast as well, and then I've got to process a podcast as well. At the moment, I don't have a ton of resources for my personal channel. Most of my resources goes into the V-roll business, but who knows? Maybe in the future, if I can build enough resources, I can easily enough turn this into a podcast as well. Especially when I'm doing cool interviews like today's one. Great question. All right. So, I
I've
think,
got a question, Gideon, for
all
you.
right.
If
Cool.
so, I've followed you for some time now, and I know you're in Australia, but I can't work out your accent because to me it sounds like South African accent. Are you able to confirm or deny this?
I can, yes, I can confirm. I'm originally from South Africa. So I left South Africa when I was about 16. We immigrated as a family to, with mom and dad and my brothers to New Zealand back in 1994. And then we lived in New Zealand for 13 years. I married a Kiwi girl, a New Zealand girl, and me and her, we immigrated to Australia about almost 10 years ago now. So I've been out of South Africa for, what is that, 22 years. Yeah, but I
You
still
got
have
a
the
strong
accent.
accent for
Yeah,
22 years in exile.
I know, but I think I've heard people say that once you reach puberty, so teenage years, you keep your accent.
Okay.
Uh, but yeah. And funny thing though, my older brother, he's lost his accent. And so has my younger brother. He's 10 years younger than me. For my younger one, I understand because he was only like 6 when we arrived. But for my older brother, I don't know. He's some sort of a freak he's been able to lose his accent. Yeah. Very cool. Thank you for that question, Tom. I'm not seeing any other questions in the comments area, and we've been at it for almost an hour and a half. So I think it's probably a good time to bring this to an end. And you're probably getting super tired, being past midnight. There, what is it? 1 o'clock, 1:30 already.
Yeah, there is blood coming out of my eyes now. So
Right. Well, our day is just getting started here. Really appreciate you coming on the call this late in your day. Tom,
absolute
and
pleasure.
thank you so much for staying awake and giving us some great content. Really appreciate it.
No worries, Gideon. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. All right. So if you're still watching at this stage, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Tom also for providing us awesome content. Make sure you give us a thumbs up if you thought this was valuable. Go ahead and share it, embed it on your site, even as Tom talked about in the call today. Very importantly, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet so you can get updated to these live events. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you on the next live call. Thanks, Tom.
Bye. Cheers.